Good evening and welcome to 3Wide TV for tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series presented by Stay Tuned Sports. It's the Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet Charter 150 from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Giaquinto. Joining me alongside in the booth, as always, Garrett Gleason. And Garrett, some short track racing, 180 laps tonight. This is going to be a fun one.
Well, Bob, you said I'm always in the booth with you. That wasn't the case last week. I just want to thank Ian for filling in, doing a great job. Excited to be here for some short track racing at the Fairgrounds. This is a track that we've certainly come to here as a league often. It never seems to disappoint, Bob, and it looks like it's one of those tracks that's a little tough to get in the rhythm, and we see guys struggling in practice, but I think once the green flag comes out, these guys are going to figure this out and put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I know in our debut season here a few months ago with the Total Nonstop Racing, the Truck Series, the Monday Night Thunder Truck Series it was called then, we raced here and it was a lot of fun. It has multiple grooves here that you can really get a good run off of. The low line is incredibly bumpy, so that really requires some really strong car control. So this is one of those tracks that is the perfect driver's track. And after 180 laps, we're definitely going to see who's the best out there tonight.
We're either going to see who's the best, Bob, or who's the luckiest, because when short track racing is involved, you never know whose mess you can get caught up in, and a track like Nashville Fairgrounds kind of plays into that. You'll see guys get loose coming out of turn 4. They're getting too low. You'll see guys pinching up into the wall. Look at right here. Perfect example. You spin onto the inside wall and your race is over. It's going to be about survival tonight, Bob, as much as it is being fast.
And some of the parts about survival here on the racetrack, it gets really bumpy below that first set of dashed lines there, especially coming out of turn number 2, and even a little bit there coming out of turn number 4. And if you just get on the gas a little too hard while you're down there, your truck is going to be spun out. And if you're in front of the field, one of the first few drivers there heading off into turn 1 on the initial start of the race, and well, really any restart there, that could spell disaster and really could end a lot of drivers' nights early just because of a little couple bumps there exiting turn number 2.
Bob, I'm glad you noticed that there was bumps on this racetrack, because I just thought it was me out there. I couldn't figure out how to drive this place no matter what series we were in. Mike Tellier actually tried to teach me to run the second groove, and I wasn't that good of a student, so I'm going to keep an eye on the different grooves, like you said, and see how those bumps play into these drivers' lines throughout the corner, especially when they're side by side, because you don't have the complete racetrack to catch a slide, if you will, if somebody's to your outside.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but, you know, just like any other racetrack, there's an advantage and disadvantage to different portions of the track here, as we see the one of Jason Gracias there make a move to the inside of Jimbo there. And, you know, right there, when you're side by side there, the outside line is going to have more momentum. The inside line might have a little better drive off of the corner. And especially at a track like Nashville here, where, you know, it's a short track. It's only about half a mile in length, actually just a little over half a mile. And, you know, beating and banging is this kind of track specialty. And I'm just excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, these last couple of minutes of practice here heading to qualifying seem like they're taking forever, Bob. I'm like you. I've been away for a little bit. I can't wait to get back to action. And I want to see, like last week, Jason Gracias dominated the race, pretty much led a lot of laps, a lot of green flag racing. I expect a different animal here tonight, and we're going to see maybe some tire conservation. And if this thing stays green, there might only be one pit stop, so pit strategy is not really going to play a factor. So there's a lot to keep an eye on as this race goes on, and we'll do our very best to keep you guys going along as smoothly as we can.
Yeah, exactly. And there we see the 81 machine of Ian Fisher, our fantastic color commentator from last week. Ian did an absolutely outstanding job. So, Ian, thank you again for joining us. A little bit further back down in the standings as of right now, about 7/10 though, or only 7/10 rather, off of our fastest lap of the session, currently put up by the 48 machine, Alec Daffin. So right now, 17 drivers have gone out and put a lap down here in practice. And there is the 18 machine there of Jim Casterline, or better known as Jimbo, the aforementioned host of Stay Tuned Sports, and he's got your UFC breakdown on this week's episode of the Stay Tuned Sports podcast. For some reason, I wanted to mention my own podcast there, and Well, we're not sponsoring
Go
the
ahead,
show,
Bob.
so
No, Bob, go ahead, please. I own the league. You're fine. Go ahead. Let's give a plug out, Bob.
well, it hasn't even launched yet. So it was just one of those brain fart moments there.
Oh, Bob, let's try to keep it professional here as we're looking at the 90. Jimbo's teammate, I believe it's Scott Crump. Is that correct? Is he a ringer that Jimbo's paying to make Stay Tuned Sports look good because Jimbo can't cut it out there?
Yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like right now. Crump goes top of the board there, about 25 one-thousandths of a second faster. And, just one of those guys is putting up some money and getting more sponsorship out there. How many Stay Tuned Sports trucks are out there right now? I'm actually kind of curious now.
Yeah, all I know about Jimbo's sponsorship is he gave me $25 once to take his logos off of my truck because I was doing so bad in NSRA. So I guess it goes both ways for Jimbo. But let's see, qualifying is underway here, and it looks like the 12 and the 48 are getting out in that track. We'll see who can put a solid lap down. I think track position will be important here, so you want to start out front.
Yeah, exactly. Track position is going to be incredibly important here, if words will work for me tonight. But, it's one of those tracks where it's a short track, not a lot of great passing opportunities. A lot of drivers are going to be, climbing all over each other just to get one position. So, we'll see here as we take a look here at the 17 machine of Tristan Thuggy Maher. Let's see if he's going to be able to put in a first quick lap.
Let me give a shout out to Tristan Maher, won a race on 3Y TV and NSRA, and I'm hoping he could do it here in TNR. He still doesn't have a TNR win, so I'm gonna keep holding that over his head until he makes it happen. So maybe tonight's the night.
A couple other trucks out there on the racetrack. That is the 81 machine of Ian Fisher. Fisher just getting the green flag for his first run around this racetrack.
Bob, I got my 2 shirts from Fisher Disc Golf. Very nice. I got the King of the Hill shirt, and I got another one that's more just for the business, and they're very nice, and I've been wearing them. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so. And we appreciate everything they do for our league and our truck series.
Yeah, I definitely got to get over there and make myself an order because, I love King of the Hill, and seeing that shirt from a few weeks ago, I need to buy it. And if you want to get your own King of the Hill Fisher Disc Golf shirt, or really any other Fisher Disc Golf or Disc Golf accessory, check them out, FisherDiscGolf.com. They're Muskegon, Michigan's #1 stop on Michigan's West Coast. As we get a little peek behind the curtain here on 3Wide TV, lots of different camera angles for us to check out. So very cool little glimpse there. But yeah, this is Fisher Disc Golf's website. They have literally everything from cart caddies to bags to discs that you can throw, t-shirts, you name it, you got to check them out there. FisherDiscGolf.com for all of that info. And if you click that little button there and sign up, you get 10% off the order. And I believe you get 15% off if you use the code RALLY at checkout. So, get yourself some pretty cool gear here. And
is there an option to add friends to your cart so you can play with? I don't see that option. Maybe I'll have to send them an email.
Yeah, I think they might need to add that one to the website because I know I'm looking for a chance to play some disc golf, but might have to book a private jet to go fly out somewhere else to play it. But speaking of, check them out, Boltjet, another one of our sponsors here for tonight's race. They specialize in planning your next vacation literally anywhere in the world on a private luxury jet. You can check them all out there, BoltjetCharter.com, and you can reach out to the guys there, and they'll get you hooked up. I've always wanted to ride a private jet, so maybe they'll be able to hook me up here.
Bob, with your connections here at TNR and the way they've been sponsoring all our races, they'll probably let you fly the private jet. I think that'd only be fair.
I'll have to see what I can do there. Meanwhile, here back on the racetrack, not missing a whole lot. Alec Daffin so far fastest in practice. We see the 7 here of Kevin Stone. He's going to be going in 8th place so far with just over a minute left here in qualifying. He's going to go for his 2nd lap. And a lot of times these drivers will sit here and use practice almost as an additional open track qualifying. You try to find your pit road speed, try to find your markers to get down onto pit road in case there's green flag pit stops. So, it's not always just about fastest qualifying lap here in the qualifying session.
You're absolutely right, Bob. You take this opportunity, even if it's only 2 laps or 2 laps plus your out lap and your cool down lap, to just feel things out. Like you said, maybe check your pit road speed, check your entrance, and that all comes into play throughout the course of the race. And the more you can do now, the less you have to do under speed while you're racing with other drivers. So that's a very valid point, Bob. It's something that only a very talented and experienced race car driver would know, such as yourself.
I don't know about that one as we see. Oh, that is not what you're going to want to do when you're heading down pit road. It's
He pulled a Mike
very
Tellier.
You know, I was just about to say it's incredibly easy to do that at places like Darlington. We just got to ask Mike all about that experience. But here it's also really easy. You come off that banking pretty hard, and that wall comes up fast.
Yeah, it's definitely don't want to do that during the race. So I'm glad Kevin got that out of his system, and I don't think we'll see that number 7 crashing into that pit entrance again. And just like that, through the power of iRacing, looks like they're getting racked up for the start of the race, Bob.
Yeah, so we'll take a look here at tonight's starting lineup on the pole with a lap of 18.526. That's the 48 machine of Alec Daffin. On his outside in row number 1, the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. Row number 2 has Jason Gracias and Bill Edwards. Row number 3, the 24 of Daniel Caprario, newcomer here for the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. And on his outside is the 14 of Jeff Price. Landon Charlo and Kevin Stone round up row number 4. Mike Floppy Tellier and John Eckhart round out the top 10. In row number 6, Tristan Thuggy Maher and Ian Fisher in 12th. G.
Oh, Bob, I hope my eyes are deceiving me. Does that say John Cannizzaro Sr.? There's 2 of them? I can't possibly commentate this race. I have to leave. I can't do it. But I hope he beats his son, if that's any consolation to Mr. Cannizzaro Sr. Jimbo starts to his outside in 14th. Nathan Ramsey will roll off in 15th. Robert Tripp, welcome back to Total Nonstop Racing, 16th. Scott Crump starting deep in the field. Had a good practice time. I believe Mitchell Adams is sitting this race out, and Adam Williams is shotgun on the field in the 78 machine.
So there is your field tonight. 18 drivers will make up this field. 180 laps here tonight. And G, what are some of the strategies you're going to have to look for as this race goes on?
Well, Bob, if you're just talking strategy and not going fast, I think I might be able to handle this. So I'm going to try to keep my wheels underneath me here, especially early on. Feel this track out. Don't be a hero. Don't do anything stupid on lap 1. Take yourself out of contention. And I just want to stay clean. I want to make moves ahead of time, know where I'm going to pass guys that I'm lapping, and just try to avoid the chaos until the very last bit of this race. Pit strategy is probably not going to be that important. So, Bob, just keep your eyes peeled, essentially. It's a short track. Don't take anything for granted that somebody's going to spin down the track, up the track, head on a swivel.
Well, if you're just joining us here tonight, welcome in. It's the Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet Charter 150 here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. If you're in the chat, make sure you say hi. Let us know who you're rooting for. Martin Plute hanging out in chat, as well as Adams Racing. Adams Racing says, I need to check out some of Fisher Disc Golf's merch. That looks like some good stuff. And, well, G, you can attest that it is some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I actually got compliments on my King of the Hill inspired shirt the first day I wore it, so I was very impressed. I mean, I wish I looked a little better wearing the shirt, but I'm not exactly a model at my size. But looks like we're getting ready to go green here, Bob.
Yeah, pace truck pulls off. The green flag is in the flagman's hand. Green flag is in the air, and we're underway here at Nashville Fairgrounds. A good restart there by the 48 machine of Alec Daffin. He's going to drive it hard into turn number 1. On his outside is the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr., and after that, just a massive humanity. Looks like a couple trucks are side by side, and yellow flag is going to come out. Looks like it's the 4 of... So I'm trying to get my notes here. Nathan Ramsey got a little bit sideways there. Oh, a little bit of contact. Looks like there might be a little bit of damage on that 97 as well.
Well, let's take a look at this, Bob. I was just going to mention that you don't want to have an oopsie this early in the race. And the 4 here, oh, well, that wasn't his fault. 778 and the 4 just came together there. I'd like to see another angle of that before I try to blame, but it might just be 2 guys struggling with the racetrack.
Yeah, let's see here. This is going to be great from the 3-wide TV blimp cam. And, oh, wow. That is what we call here in iRacing netcode. As you can see here, there was no actual contact. but according to the iRacing gods, they were involved with each other. And yeah, look at that. There's a lot of room there between those two drivers, and well, unfortunately, around goes the four.
That's just horrible, and then all these netcode improvements that they talk about in iRacing, and then you see something like that happens that should never happen, and it's going to put two drivers at a terrible disadvantage to start this race. I'm not even sure. I mean, I think the two trucks will be able to continue, but when that happens, on lap one, that just puts a sour taste in your mouth, especially when it's not of your own doing.
And I think what makes it tough too is, according to the iRacing timing and scoring, the four of Nate and Ramsey, actually from the Australia/New Zealand um, uh, server group or club, if you will. So a tough break for the four machine there, and just kind of netcode is our first victim here, about 4 laps in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, Bobby. You could justify if you're racing hard and somebody gets into you, but when something like that happens, it's the worst feeling in the world. It's just wrong place, wrong time, whatever. Living in the wrong country that iRacing doesn't deem to be as important as another, like whatever it may be. Like your race on lap one, it's a horrible feeling. But hey, don't give up out there. Attrition is a thing. Short tracks, you can get your damage fixed hopefully, and maybe be a contender. So I never give up, especially at a short track. But
Exactly, and that's one of those things, like you said, there's going to be more wrecks. There's 180 laps in the race. You just kind of got to keep your head down and power through everything. And it's definitely a tough break there for both the 78 and the 4. And I got to say, there's some really interesting paint schemes here. The Canizaro team, some interesting looking trucks there. Very, I guess, minimalistic. Would you say?
well, Bob, if John Jr. takes after his father, intelligence is definitely not a strength in that family. So I don't expect them to be able to come up with anything creative or do anything. I mean, just fact that John's able to make the corner by braking and turning the wheel is just God's will. All right, whatever going for him. Congratulations, John. You've made it in life, bud. So we'll see if he can continue to do that for 170 some more laps. But looks like we're getting ready. The pace truck's ready to pull off.
So far, Canizaro Jr. looking pretty good there on the outside of this front row. 48 Valak Daffin definitely in a hurry, bump drafting the pace truck, saying, come on, let's get back going green. And he's going to be the control car here. He's going to go fairly early. Green flag is back out, and we're underway here again. Great jump by the 48 of Daffin, heading off into turn number 1.
I just hope it wasn't too good of a jump, Bob. I think he's been warned to move fast. Maybe his starts, restarts. So something to keep an eye on. Looks like Floppy's having some trouble, and there's going to be some collateral damage. Looks like Canizaro Senior's involved. Some other trucks up ahead. And wow, Bob, not the best 2 starts here for our Truck Series race.
Yeah, that's for sure. And this is one of those things where everyone is so sideways and slidey coming out of the corner. They're cold tires and all that. Let's see what exactly happened here. It's the 97 of Tellier. I don't know if he cut down or what exactly had happened there in front of the 7. And then Canizaro Sr., unable to get woed up in time, is going to drive into him. Also, another issue there, that's the 20S on the car. I believe that's the 47 of Landon Charlo, who wound up getting turned around, and ooh.
Yeah, that's not ideal there coming across the trackway. Trucks are still going by. We have neck code between Floppy and Kevin, according to our producer, which that's kind of it's very similar to the first incident we saw out there. And that second part of that second incident to me looked avoidable. If you could have just kept it up towards the wall, I think we would have had less damage. I'm just watching the 97 again. Little help from behind too there, or no?
Yeah, it might have been either a little bit of help from behind or just was already sliding, and the 17 just could not get things going. But we'll see here. That's the 20S. Looks like he tried to get it woed up, and whoa. Yeah, just a matter of, looks like the 35 of Robert Tripp had gotten in there as well. And yeah, that's just kind of a matter of just a little bit of impatience there. Obviously a little frustrated getting turned around, and oh man.
Yeah, that's horrible there for the 35. Just everybody just so far. I mean, the only thing, the only person this is good for out there is Jimbo, because Jimbo is creeping his way to a top 10 right now, and he's thinking to himself, if this race keeps at this pace, I could probably get a top 5 and then retire on top and just be done with it. I'll just keep sponsoring these guys and just hang up my wheel. Jimbo, that's a great strategy, and you should do it.
Well, right now Jimbo's down in P11. He's just outside of that top 10. So still plenty of time for him to move up the field for sure. As everyone getting racked back up, will be going green, I believe, in about 2, maybe 3 laps. Looks like the 47 of Sarlo has parked it behind the wall and will be out of tonight's race.
Bob, at this point, I might have to hop in the server and see if I can get myself a top 10. What do you think? You think you can handle this?
Oh yeah, I think I could definitely handle this. If we're pacing here under yellow, I think I can handle it.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure I have admin in this series so I could just go as fast as I want under yellow. Make up some of these laps, I'll be down maybe. But all right, as a racer, you've had a start and a restart. You haven't gotten your rhythm. This is essentially the same as the initial start as far as I'm concerned, tires wise, everything. You need to get some laps under you, get in the rhythm. None of these drivers really know what this track's doing as we're getting ready to go green for the 3rd time here tonight, going on lap 13.
Yeah, gee, I couldn't agree more here. As the green flag is out, we're back underway. It's all about getting into that rhythm, and if you keep having yellows coming out of turn number 2 like we have, you're gonna start to get frustrated. You don't know what your truck's capable of, and looks like we'll be able to have a green flag lap here coming across to complete lap number 13.
This reminds me of when I was administrating in the Grand National Series. By this point, I would be on the mic already, guys. What do we have to do here to get a green flag run? Could we all just take a breath and go easy the first couple corners? And let's get a couple corners under our belt here as we're watching some guys not taking it easy. Jeff Price all the way up in the 3rd groove, and Kevin Stone just spiked it. And the 48 spiked it. Bob, we are calamity here at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, dueling donuts there between the 7 and the 48. Not entirely sure what had happened there. It looked like the 7 might have gotten a little too hot coming out of the corner. And we'll see. There's the 7, and oh, what happened there with the 48? That was interesting.
Yeah, the 48, it looked like he was trying to clear up, and Dougie was there. Is that what this looks like? You have to take another look at it. No, it looks like, I take that back. Looks like 2 guys going for the same racetrack as Kevin Stone. That was crazy. No, Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbo.
Come on, Jimbo. Keep that thing pointed in the right direction. Bob, there's a lot to go through here as far as the replay goes.
Yeah, I think there are about 4 or 5 wrecks all happening simultaneously there. We see the 7 going for it, and yeah, the 48, I don't know if maybe his spotter said he was clear or what, but man, that was a tough break there. Good to see the 48 though back out there on the racetrack.
There's 2 very similar trucks, Bob. Is that the issue, or are we seeing a different screen? I feel like that couldn't have been the same truck in the accident that's leading the race right now, but maybe it's me. Do we have some kind of glitch where 2 guys are running the same paint scheme?
Well, I know the 24 is out there on the track right now. A couple of different numbers. There's Alec Daffin in the 48. The 20 is out on the track. Just trying to make my run through. Yeah, I'm trying to see who else would be.
Because right, the 48 was leading the race, and then somebody was involved in the wreck back there with Dougie, and it wasn't the 48, correct? Unless I'm seeing things.
I believe that might have been the 24 of Daniel Caprario. Caprario actually driving the same paint scheme as the 48, but with a 24 on the door handle. At least that's what was showing up on my side of things here in the iRacing server. So
well,
not entirely sure.
Okay, let's go with that. That wasn't the 48. That was the 24 involved in that wreck. 24 is going to be out of the race as of now. 48 is still the leader. Bob and I are not under the influence of any type of drug, so please continue on.
Well, the leader's getting ready here. I believe there's going to be 2 laps to go, or 1 lap to go when we get back around. and we started with 18 trucks. This is already a few guys in on pit road, but not too many guys with the clean truck right now.
No, and Jimbo's up in the 7th. I mean, at this point, I might have to pick the 16 to win. I don't know what the live betting odds are, but I might have to get in on this. What a story that would be.
We go taking a couple. I don't know if those are bets or bribes.
Looks like a bribe.
Or...
Yeah, looks like a bribe to me, Bob.
Well, just saying, you could always reach us out at 3-Wide TV. We'll be glad to take some bribes or something. There's Carlos counting the money that we've received already. So, well, we'll see what's going on here. Alec Daffin still leads. He's been the leader for the whole race, not involved in a wreck, unlike what we were saying earlier.
Yeah, if that's Carlos counting that money, Bob, I think he has enough for a Boltjet charter. Maybe he could fly us to next week's race.
That's for sure. Here as the green flag is out, we're going back to single file restarts now, just to kind of keep things a little bit cleaner than have been. And good jump there by the 48.
Yeah, great jump. 48, he is very good on restarts, I mean, initial starts too. Definitely someone to keep an eye on, no matter what series we're in. If he gets out front, you're going to have a hard time staying with him. And if you get that track position, he can pull away from you in a hurry.
Yeah, and we've seen that a few times between last night with at the Charlotte Roval, a couple weeks ago, even winning in his first race here with TNR in the Tuesday Night Truck Thunder Series at Auto Club. He's just one heck of a driver and great restarts, great initial starts, like you'd said, and right now he's holding pretty steady with Cannizzaro. A little bit slower that time by, but previous times he was just right there, fairly even lap times.
So I'm looking at the 48, I'm looking at the 12. I think these two guys, short run, they're fine with it. Like, they don't mind. They're good at hot lap and they're good at lap stuff. 3rd and 4th place, guys I've raced with for years, Jason Gracias, Bill Edwards. They're guys that need to get in rhythm, I feel like. And if this race goes green, I expect them to close the gap on these guys. But if we keep having these short spurts, I don't think it's going to benefit them at all. So I'm going to keep my eye on that as we're looking here back towards Bill Edwards. And Eckhart in the 18 having a good run, right to Bill's back bumper there.
Yeah, Eckhart has been really fast this season here, and just unfortunately caught up in other people's issues and other doings there. So he hasn't quite had the finishes that show for it, but he's definitely a driver to keep your eye on tonight here at Nashville. Out front, nothing too crazy has happened. The gap staying about steady at about half a second, give or take, between the two drivers there. And there we are in the lower corner. Eckhart trying to look to the inside of Bill Edwards. And this really is one of Edwards' best tracks. He always seems to be up front, no matter if it's the Xfinity car, if it's the truck, or what have you. Edwards always strong here at the Fairgrounds.
You know, contrary to what people believe on this channel, I like Bill Edwards. I mean, I pick on him. We have a good time. But Bill's one of those guys that every time I pick him to win a race, Bob, he lets me down. So I'm not doing it anymore. Yes, Bill, I'm rooting for you. I like you. Yes, it's one of your best tracks. It'd be great if you won. But I'm not going to put myself on the limb anymore because I've had egg on my face so many times because of that 50 truck, Bob.
Well, that 50 truck, certainly an interesting paint scheme there. Very, very vibrant, very colorful track that no matter where you are on the racetrack, you say, oh, there's Bill. Just look for the unicorn vomit all over a race truck, and there it is.
You made me laugh at the unicorn vomit, Bob, so good job on that. I'm waiting for that shirt you're supposed to send me, Bill, so don't forget. And Jimbo's pulling into pit road. Maybe he says, you know what, I've guaranteed myself a 13th place finish. I've had enough. I'm going to go record a podcast about UFC. And wow, we have a drift by Cannizzaro, and he's into the outside wall. John Cannizzaro Jr. makes me a man of my word and brings out a yellow, just like I expected. Oh, that's unacceptable. Whoever just plowed into him there's really no excuse for that. Well, let's take a look.
Yeah, tough break there. And you know, Cannizzaro had his practice yesterday at the Roval, drifting and sliding it through the corner, but that's not what you want to do. As the yellow came out, and he was just kind of holding there, and unfortunately, oh man, yeah, the 81 looks like he just got into the quarter panel of the 12.
I gotta take a stab at this, knowing that Fisher's a good driver here. I think he has a brake bias thing where he couldn't slam on the brakes as much as he wanted to, or Cannizzaro just kind of snuck up on him there. There was a little bit of room there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there that maybe there's just a bit of a miscommunication with what he thought Canizaro was doing. Because certainly not someone that you expect to do that. But Canizaro, I mean, but if you would have kept this thing pointed down the track, that would have been one heck of a drift. I think Carlos would have used that in a promo package for seasons to come.
Would have been a save of the year contender there for Canizaro, but unfortunately it was not, and was the fourth caution for tonight's race. And well, it looks like he's going to be falling back quite a bit, as a couple drivers have yet to pit. Actually, only two drivers have stayed out and not touched pit road at all. That's the 48 of Alec Daffin and the 81 of Ian Fisher. Adam Williams, good job by him, involved in that first wreck between he and the 4 of Nathan Ramsey. He was able to move up. He's currently in P3, and everyone else just came back off of pit road.
I don't know. What are they pitting for, Bob? You think a change in shorts, or what do you think's going on here? Let everybody have damage? I mean, at this point, we think you can put on tires about every 40 laps. It's a little soon. Not that many green flag laps, but I guess if you feel like this race is going to keep running under yellow, come in and get your work done.
Yeah, I'm honestly I'm a little bit surprised that they did come down and get tires. A lot of them 14-second pit stops, which are normally indicative of getting those 4 tires as well as fuel. And yeah, I mean, we've only ran what, like maybe 15 green flag laps, if that. So I just feel like it's too soon to waste that first set of tires, because you can't use scuffs in iRacing.
Yeah, that's a shame, huh? Too bad you couldn't. That kind of make strategy a little bit interesting, but I like iRacing. They're doing a little bit different strategy. Now I've seen 2 tires work a little more than it has in the past, so who knows, Bob? Maybe we'll get to the point where you could put on some used tires. And I'd like to see some random blowouts, too. I know that wouldn't be popular, but I used to love that in NR 2003, where you just, popped the tire, blew a trans or whatever. Like, it always kept you on your toes.
Yeah, that honestly, that was one of my favorite parts about NR03, just, the random mechanical failures. And I understand, especially if you're doing official racing where, you don't want the random number generator to affect your iRating or anything like that. But, as the pace truck pulls off, hopefully the final restart, there's obviously 145 laps to go. Alec Daffin on the loud pedal, great restart again. But the 81 of Ian Fisher there, a little bit slow on the jump.
Well, you need to be in a different zip code to keep up with that 48, so nothing against Ian there. I think Ian's going to do his best, maybe a little bit of damage there, hold on to second place, but 78's looking strong in that bottom lane.
Yeah, Williams there has a little bit of damage there, like we had said, because of that netcode incident on lap number 1, but he's able to get around the 81 of Fisher, and he's going to start pointing his truck in the right direction. On my side of things, 78 has a beautiful baby blue Boltjet charter truck to match the 81 of Ian Fisher there. Fisher just falling back, and almost like he got fed to the piranhas there as he's getting swallowed up by the rest of the field.
Hey, it's no shame in being on a different strategy, especially this early with all the yellows. So when the yellow comes out, you get some fresh tires. But hey, it's okay to try this early on in the race, so when it comes time later, you don't want. Now you know what not to do, I guess. And we're looking at a battle here between the 17 and the 18. Tristan Maher, John Eckhart. Eckhart's going a bit wide up here in the corner. We'll see if he has the momentum on exit.
Yeah, good run there coming off the corner. Not able to get anything going there. There's the 97 of Mike Tellier. He's going to dive it in. Good run there by Tellier. He's going to be on a little bit more of an advantage getting the drive off the corner, but they'll stay side by side into turn number 1.
Oh, Bob, this is exciting. We're getting to see some good racing here now that we have a green flag out for more than a handful of laps. So good job by these drivers. I think they're all just looking forward to actually racing, because it's been a rough start. But 17 looking strong here, making his way back towards the field following Jason Gracias.
Yeah, a little bit of right front damage there from the 17 after getting into it with the 24. But after that, I mean, some good racing here. A nice side-by-side battle. That's Bill Edwards there on the bottom. He's looking to the inside of the 78 of Williams. Jason Gracias looking to capitalize. Gracias last week winning at Atlanta, leading about 95 of the 100 laps of the race. The only times he didn't lead were during green flag pit cycle. So he had a strong run there last week, and he's looking to capitalize this week as well.
Yeah, momentum in racing. We've talked about this before in the broadcast. It's a beautiful thing. And we have the 78. Looks like he's going to save it, but the yellow is out.
Yeah, tough break there. Looks like just a couple of guys going there for the same piece of real estate, and the 78 just slid up the track a little bit, and the caution came out. Oh, big loose coming out of four.
Yeah, he was wrecking for a straightaway and the corner there, and too much beans, too many beans there for the 78. Looks like, as our producer said, that wasn't as bad as you usually see, but I guess iRacing, once it saw the truck was that sideways, they threw out the yellow. So here comes our leader onto pit road. He had a 3-second lead or so before that yellow, so that certainly didn't help him any. So 18 also coming down pit road, followed by the 81 and the 78.
Couple Boltjet charter trucks there, and yeah, it looked like the 78 was just having a couple of issues there. Might have heated up the rear tires a little bit, and heating up the rear tires there coming down pit road as well. And just kind of just lost control going into one. It's so easy to do, especially after having a huge slide like that. You just lose control, and it makes it tough to keep it stuck to the track coming out of the corner.
Yeah, it's like Bob, you also live in the Northeast, so like it's like falling on ice. Like if you start slipping and you try to catch yourself, usually it just makes it worse. And that's like racing. You're out there, you get sideways, you're like, oh, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna say you put all your effort into it, and then what happens? You end up wrecking anyway. Sometimes just go with the flow.
Yeah,
Fall,
sometimes.
laugh about it, get back up, dust yourself off, and try again another day.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just got to let the slide and the ice take you, well, wherever gravity is telling you where to go, and that's kind of what happened there with the 78. Unfortunate, but he's still able to keep it going. He's currently running in the 10th position, last car on the lead lap. A couple trucks, more than one lap down. Robert Tripp currently in 11th. John Canizaro Sr. 11 laps down in 13th, and Kevin Stone 26 down in 14th. Still out there though on the racetrack.
What's Jimbo doing? Jimbo, get that truck back out there if it's not able to. Come on, I'm sure you have enough money to get some parts together from these other guys. Make a couple trucks into one truck. My father's a mechanic. He does it all the time. He gets parts from one Chevy, puts it on another, takes it to the sale and sells it. You can do it, Jimbo. I have faith in you, bud.
Well, then again, I mean, he is sponsoring what, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 trucks out there. You know, sponsorship can be kind of expensive in today's day and age. So maybe he's just trying to save up and get that logo on a couple other trucks in the near future.
Well, it certainly won't be my truck. He's made that perfectly clear. But anybody that gets sponsored by Jimbo, you're certainly lucky. He's a great sponsor, a great friend to iRacing, Motorsports, Total Nonstop Racing, National Sim Race Association. There's not enough nice things I could actually say about Jimbo, and I'm grateful that he's taken that next step and started to race with us here from time to time.
Yeah, it's awesome seeing him get involved here, and obviously great chatting with him in the Discord, but seeing him out there on the racetrack is so awesome. And if you want to check out Stay Tuned Sports, you can check them out literally anywhere you find podcasts. Or if you want to help support the show, check them out, buymeacoffee.com/stsports, and donate a couple bucks his way. Buy him a beer or two, and help him out here. As the green flag is out, Bill Edwards, another great jump there. He's going to lead the field off into turn number 1.
Wow, Bill Edwards is taking some notes behind that 48. He got a really good jump. Mike Tellier is hot on his heels. And Carlos, if you don't mind, in post, if you could take all that nice stuff out I said about Jimbo, I'd appreciate that. I don't want him using it against me in the future.
Here's the 17 of Tristan Thuggy Maher. He's looking towards the inside of John Eckhart. Can't quite get it done there, as this is just such a tight racetrack, and one little extra hit on the gas pedal or in the gas too hard and too early could spell disaster. We've seen it already here, but 50 laps in, looking pretty good here as Daffin looks to the inside of Gracias.
That 48 is Bob. No matter where he is in the field, he's making his presence known. And just came off pit road, and he's already slicing and dicing with some very talented drivers. Gracias with all the momentum in the world. Tellier, Bill Edwards. I think it's a matter of when he gets back to that lead.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a matter of when and not if here, as he's already moved his way up to 3rd place. He's taken some momentum there, and he's going to put on the pressure here, the 97. But meanwhile, out front, side by side, oh, the 97 gets a little squirrely coming out of the corner, and he's going to fall back a lot there as he was trying to look to the inside of Edwards.
Wow.
Again.
Wow, that is rough there in the 97. It's you're right. He's cooked his tires. Producer, very. Carlos, if you don't need us here, you got everything figured out, man. You got all those screens and the knowledge that I'm jealous of.
The heat is on for sure.
Bob, I thought you left there for a second. I don't want to jump over you, but I thought you actually did leave. I'm like, all right, Carlos got it. I was just ready to unplug my mic.
Hey, I was letting the moment happen there as the 48 of Daffin looks to the outside of Edwards, tries a little crossover move. He's got the drive coming off the corner. Wow, what a move there by Daffin. He's going to dive it in, and 48 is going to get the lead here coming out of 4. Wow.
Yeah, Alex Daffin. I mean, he clearly has Carlos in his ear as well, teaching him how to drive that truck, much like he does helping us broadcast it. He's making all the right moves and getting that 48 back to the point.
I just cannot believe that move. He faked to the outside, went down low, got the drive off the corner. Hey, Jimbo's back up there on the racetrack. Just running laps now is a little bit of a close call there with another lapped car there, but what a great move by the 48.
Yeah, that's something to put in your notepad. Like, how did he do that? And this guy is talented out there. And Bill Edwards now under siege from number 1 Jason Gracias. And Eckhart, like you said earlier, Bob, he's shown a lot of speed this season. And he's been in the top 5 here all night and doing a tremendous job in that 18 Interstate Batteries truck.
Yeah, great looking truck there for Eckhart. And yeah, I mean, he's been one of those drivers where he has put on such a great show over these last few weeks, but the finishes haven't been there to back it up, only because he's been caught up in other issues, whether it's being caught laps down because of green flag pit cycles or just being involved in other people's wrecks. But the 18 of Eckhart, really, really strong season, and he's looking to capitalize here tonight.
I called that Kevin Stone syndrome, Bob. Kevin Stone used to have, in our Grand National Series, the worst luck I've ever seen. He'd have great run after great run, and then all of a sudden, a deer would jump on the track in front of him and wreck him. That just seemed to be what happened every week. If I was in the booth with Peter, you were in the booth with Peter, it just happened. And Eckhart, same deal here. You keep putting these good runs in, and eventually Lady Luck is going to be on your side. You can't get discouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. You're talented, you're a good driver, and it's showing up week after week.
That is for sure. If you're just tuning in, welcome. It's the Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet Charter 150 here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. It's the Stay Tuned Sports Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series presented by Stay Tuned Sports here. It's Total Nonstop Racing League. Great battle here between last week's winner, the 1 of Jason Gracias. He's going to try to take a peek to the inside of Bill Edwards. Can't quite get the move done. And now they've got a couple cars to move around, and yellow flag is out.
Oh, Bob, I was so excited. I was just getting ready to say something about Jason Gracias, Bill Edwards. We talked about green flag run, and the yellow is out again. So let's see what happened out there on the racetrack. Third of the way through this race, and we have, I believe, Robert Tripp's going to be involved. Bob, you want to take us through this?
Take a look here. There's the 35 of Tripp, and hard into the wall there. Oh man, he got into the 1 of Gracias, and oh man, tough break there for the 35. His first race back in a while with TNR. Unfortunately, not going to plan.
Yeah, he's going to be taking a trip to the Infield Care Center for sure. And Jason Gracias didn't look like he got too bad of damage there. It's always that risk you take at a short track when you're passing a slower truck, that they're going to hold their line and nothing chaotic happen. And in that instance, number 1 was in the wrong place at the wrong time, come to pit road, and these guys are going to get probably some damage fixed, some feel goods, and get back out there. Hopefully for another green run.
And it looks like Ian's in the infield care center. Why don't we bring Ian in and see what had happened out there?
Hey Ian, that's the guy you filled in for last week, and Bob up in the booth. What happened out there?
Oh man, in that one of those incidents there, the 12 spun in front of me and did a good job of locking it down on the racetrack. I was just kind of stuck on the high line there, and I had nowhere to go, and it was kind of a shame because the Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet Charters Ford F-150 was, not really fast tonight, but I think with just the attrition that was going on in the racetrack, we had a chance there for at least a top 10. So kind of a bummer, but I just want to apologize to the 12 there for getting into him. I didn't mean to do that, but I think I got the worst end of that a little bit.
Yeah, don't worry about apologizing to the 12 because he has no soul. So I just want to let you know he means nothing, and don't ever feel bad about anything you do to the 12 out in the racetrack. But I like how you got your sponsor plug in there. You are a true professional, and if you want to take over for color commentary the rest of this race, I will gladly sit out because you are that good from what I've heard.
Well, I really appreciate it. Yeah, just really important. I never really get to thank all my sponsors out there. So, unfortunately, this isn't really the situation I wanted to thank them in there. But, if I just want to throw in there Jackson Speedway and the Esports Racing Academy, everything those guys do to get me out on the track, just really unfortunate that I wasn't able to bring it home a good finish for him tonight.
So there's no hope of getting your machine back out there and making a couple laps here and dealing with this attrition? You've parked it for the night?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think so. Guys were looking at it. They had the hood up and everything like that, and they were telling me it was going to be about 30 minutes of repairs there. So just with the way things have been going tonight, there's a possibility to get out there and everything like that. But I just didn't want to be a slow truck out there, possibly ruining the championship for the rest of these guys who are racing really hard up at the front there.
Well, I usually feel like that during race 1 of the season, so I'm glad it took you this long and some damage for that to happen. But I'm sure you'll be back with us next week. And like I said, if you want to stay in the booth, I'm more than happy with it if these other guys are.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll hang out here. Let me get my headset on and everything like that. Looks like we're under caution again, so that's a little bit unfortunate for these guys. It's been really, a lot of these guys are racing hard and everything like that. It's just such a tight track, and it's a really loose setup. I'm not trying to blame the setup or anything like that. It was my own lack of talent there that got me into trouble, but I'll let it go back to you guys. It looks like I'm about to go green here.
Yeah, pace car is off. The 18 rather of John Eckhart is the leader. Good jump there by him. And they'll run side by side into the corner. The 78 of Adam Williams there. He had a great run there. Had a little bit of an issue there on lap 1. He's currently side by side with 48 of Alec Daffin. Daffin, 5-lap old tires, so he's going to be looking to make some more moves here as they're still side by side. Having a hard time getting around the 78. Now he does. He's going to set his sights on the 18 of Eckhart.
So now that we have somebody in the wall, I was just going to ask Ian a question, but we'll check out the 18 of Eckhart. You just talked him up. He's having a good run here in the top 5. Looks like he's going to be able to continue on. But I just wanted to ask Ian, what's so hard about driving this track, and what do you think the keys are to success? I mean, you were out there, obviously you didn't have the night you wanted, but what's the difference in somebody being fast here and somebody not being fast here?
I think it's really important when you're getting to the corners is braking in a straight line. You have to give a touch of brake to these trucks to get them to rotate through the corner. So braking in a straight line and rolling the corner, I think, is really, really important. But as we've seen all night long, a lot of these guys are having trouble getting up off the corner, getting loose, maybe touching the wall a little bit. I was lucky enough not to be able to get into the wall during my run there, but it's really, really hard to have that back, or really hard to keep that, as we see here, sawing the wheel to the right almost to keep it going. And looks like Adam Williams there is going to go into pit road, but yeah, it's just hard to saw that wheel and keep the truck straight coming off forward, getting that good drive off there.
Meanwhile, out front here is the 48. It's been the Alec Daffin show all race long. If he wasn't leading, he was fighting his way back up for the lead. And I think this battle right here between Daffin and Bill Edwards, this is going to be that battle that's going to rage on all race long. We've mentioned it before. Bill Edwards, one of his best tracks here is the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and Alec Daffin just so strong there. And right now in his rearview mirror, it's starting to get a little bit bigger with the 17 just behind him.
Yeah, 17 creeping up into this battle. You're talking about the 50 and the 48. Don't count out the 17. We're not going to count out the 1, especially if this stays green. And John Canizaro's rebounded as well. But just going back to the 48, that decent green run we had, he had about a 3-second lead. He's about 8/10 right now. We're going to see if he continues to pull away, because if he can keep pulling away to a 3-second lead, I don't know if any of these guys have anything for him.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, Ian, when you're out there and seeing how fast the 48 is, what was it like just kind of trying to hold him off? I know the two of you started one of the restarts there side by side. Just tell me about how good of a launch he was able to get.
Yeah, I think a little bit was I stayed out on a little bit worn tires. I'm still kind of trying to figure out the pit rotations here and everything like that. And when I saw everybody, pitting on the first lap there, I didn't want to go down and pit on the second lap and possibly put myself a lap down. So I was trying to stay out there and kind of hang on as much as I could and stay on the lead lap. But Yeah, I mean it's not all just that. I mean he had such a good launch off the corner there, and he's doing a really good job of when he gets to coming to that one to green, he gets that launch off of four right as he gets the tires straight. I think the rest of the field still have a little bit of input in their wheel, and you got to be so careful, especially on worn tires like I had, not to spin the truck around. And I think he's just choosing a really good spot to launch off there on those restarts, Bob.
Well, here's a good battle now between the 12 of Canizaro Jr. and the 1 of Jason Gracias. Gracias currently running in the 4th position. He's got Canizaro hot on his heels, and Canizaro takes the look down low, can't quite get the drive off. But a good battle here all over the racetrack for multiple positions.
Yeah, it seems like the 2nd to the 4th battle was pretty interesting here. Bill Edwards went to 8 tenths. He's been about 6, 7 tenths, so Bill's not letting the 48 get away from him. So that could be a good thing. We talked about the 50 and even the 17 now, along with the 1 being good on the long run. Jason's got a little bit of damage, but if this could stay green, you never know. We haven't had enough of a run here where guys know the tire wear and that sort of thing. So this could really turn this race on its head.
And last time by, Daffin the fastest out there on the racetrack with an 18.98, but Bill Edwards just behind him, a 19.07. So fairly close lap times, all things considered. Jason Gracias that time by just put up a 14 or a 19 flat. So everyone's still running about the same lap times. Oh, as the 50 got a little squirrely there.
I heard you said the 50 ran in 1907, which was conveniently the year he was born, so good for Bill being consistent out there.
Well, it's always about consistent here at Nashville Fairgrounds. Super Speedway is a few miles south of the racetrack. The 17, Tristan Maher, all over the back bumper of the 50, and I'm sure if I'm Thuggy, I'm sitting there saying, all right, I've had enough staring at whatever a unicorn upchucked all over the back of this truck. Let me get around him, please.
Yeah, I think he's getting to that point where you're starting to feel the guys holding you up. You get these 2 trucks there behind you, they get a little bit closer to you, and then you realize I have to get some clean track for myself, and then that's when you start to be really aggressive. And you're watching that 50 slide side by side. Maybe Bill's tires are wearing a little more than he expected, but Bill's also not losing ground to the leader, so he's not going to just pull over and say, hey, Tristan, go ahead, because when you can see that leader, that's what you're going for. You don't really care about the guy behind you.
I got to say, with everyone out there on the racetrack right now, the only driver on tires that are older than 23 laps is the 18 of John Eckhart, and he's fallen back a little bit. Granted, that was because he got into the wall a few laps ago, but right now he's holding strong, about 10, almost 11 seconds behind the leaders, back in 7th place, as we see the pit strategy on your screen right there. Looks like just about everyone came in on that last yellow flag. You see John Eckhart, like I'd mentioned, about 40 some odd laps on his tires. So a couple of different strategies out there.
Yeah, a couple of different strategies, and I'd like maybe Ian's input. Are you seeing anything from your perspective here? Any of these guys you think going to come forward here on the long run, or anybody you noticed that was a little better as the tires wore on?
Well, I just thought it was impressive that Mike Floppy Tellier in the 97, that beautiful Hello Kitty car. Oh, no, I think we just had one driver going to the wall. I think that's the 1 around, Bob. I'm not quite sure, but it looks like the 1's going to go into the wall, and we're under caution again.
Yeah, Jason Gracias unfortunately got squirrely going into the corner. We'll see the replay here. Didn't have help, and yeah, just a little too much rear brake and snapped loose on him. Looked very similar to the 12 of Canizaro's wreck.
Ian talked about a loose setup, and I think that's what we're seeing here. A driver like Jason Gracias, years and years of experience, not a guy that makes mistakes. If he's having a hard time holding on to it, then I think everybody's fighting what Ian talked about out there. It just, you're right on the edge, it seems like, and like you said, you're not blaming the setup, but without the experience, the lap after lap, and maybe the track temperature being maybe a little less, give these guys a little bit better chance. But you got the hand you're dealt, and now everybody's just trying to do their best.
Yeah, so we'll see here who's going to be heading down pit road, who's going to be pitting. Wow, the 18 of John Eckhart decides to stay out again this time by. Maybe he took tires a little bit too soon, is just kind of going to have to deal with whatever tires he's dealt. But The 18 John Eckhart stays out under this yellow while everyone else heads down pit road.
I'm not sure about that strategy, guys. I don't know. Not. I don't think I'd want to be leading this field back to the restart on old tires with that 48, 50 and then behind me. I don't think it's going to work out too good.
Yeah, when I saw myself cycle around up to P2 behind Daffin there, I kind of had the Ralph Wiggum "I'm in danger" in my head. Luckily, it was still a single file start, so I was able to get up to the high side a little bit, but I was almost immediately freight trained by all these drivers with fresh tires, Bob.
Yeah, we're going to see here what exactly is going to happen. Looks like the 18 did head down pit road now. So looks like Eckhart just wanted to pick up an extra lap lead, and he'll dive back down and he'll cycle back around. He didn't lose all that much position. He'll be cycling back down around 8th or 9th. So, you know, a pretty decent strategy call. You pick up a lap or a lap lead and come down, get some fresh tires, get some damage fixed. Looks like he had about 31.5 seconds in his pit box, so definitely had some damage fixed, and he'll be back out there again.
Oh, is it my job to provide color commentary? I was letting the more qualified guy, if you want to chime in. I'm just here enjoying the show. I'm thinking about maybe next caution we get John Cannizzaro in here, and I'll pick on him a little bit for an interview. That's what I was looking forward to. I'm writing down some comedy bits, so you guys will have to excuse me.
If you're hanging out in the chat watching tonight's race, thank you so much. Make sure you drop a line and drop a comment in the chat saying who you're going to be cheering for. Gecko is hanging out watching the race. Jimbo Stay Tuned Sports says, yeah, I parked it. The truck gauges were hotter than Carmen Electra. So a little bit of a overheating issue for Jimbo.
I hope his truck doesn't have as many miles on it as Carmen Electra does. That could be problematic for whole season.
You see a live shot of Jimbo's truck there burning up in flames with Elmo hanging out in front of him. But the lights on the pace truck are no longer twinkling. At least I don't think they are. And we'll be going back green here shortly.
Bob, I'm going to take a back seat here until this next caution inevitably comes out and let Ian be your number one color commentator.
That works for me. Here as the pace truck is off. Green flag is in the air. Another fantastic jump there by the 48 of Daffin. And they're going to be side by side battling it out for second. Cannizzaro wants it. He's got it over 50 of Bill Edwards. And Edwards is going to be falling back now into the clutches of Tristan Maher. He's going to block him off. But a good run there by Edwards, able to get around the 17 of Maher. And Jeff Price now sets his sights on Maher as well.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit earlier about how these tires are wearing in, and I think Garrett alluded to it a little bit earlier as well. I think the track is a little bit hot. I'm not exactly sure what the ambient air temperature is out here or the track temperature, but, you know, if the hotter the track you get, Bob, it just makes those tires even more slick, especially when they're fresh, and it takes a few laps to really get the truck underneath you. I will say that was probably one of the only good things about staying out on worn tires is the truck was pretty locked in as soon as I got the jump, but as you can see, the speed is really with these fresh tires, and they make a huge difference here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, that is for sure. Right now, everyone on fresh tires, so a fairly even playing field. But like you said, it's just all about grip now, and obviously cold tires, they're not going to have as good grip as some couple lap old tires. As we take a look here at the pit strategy, everyone out there on the track now, aside from a handful of cars trucks rather, who are multiple laps down, they are all on the same pit strategy. So right now, a pretty decent battle going on here for the lead as well as for third place.
Yeah, and if all these drivers took fuel on their last stop, which I don't really know why you wouldn't, you're good to go to the end here, at least on fuel. So you don't have to make another stop for fuel. And these drivers had 4 sets of tires for this race. So if you haven't used those 4 sets of tires, it's really important to keep a set late in the race if you have a late caution or maybe even an overtime situation to be able to get yourself back up through the front of the field and really be able to hold on to it for that final run.
So right now, a pretty decent battle. Daffin able to pick up about a 10th or so on that last lap of the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. Good battle there for third as well between Bill Edwards and Tristan Thuggy Maher. But right now, this is kind of the battle out there on the racetrack. All 7 drivers currently on the lead lap. A couple of drivers either wrecked out or severely off the pace. Mike Floppy Tellier 1 lap down, currently in 8th. John Cannizzaro Sr. in 9th, and Kevin Stone 27 laps down in 10th. So a bit of attrition so far here, only 100 laps into this 180 lap event, but some good racing right now out front.
Yeah, out front, these guys, I was watching them there when I was falling back on the worn out tires, and really it was about a 5-way battle for the lead. So all these guys that are up at the front of the pack, and even Jason Gracias in the one car with that most recent incident, I don't know if his engine is going to be able to hold on as long as this race goes, knock on wood, but interesting to see him up there still not losing too much time and actually able to make a pass on Eckhart, Bob.
Yeah, Gracias able to get around John Eckhart there for 6th place. But right now, I mean, this is the gap between the top 4 trucks, all still kind of staying within each other's reach. Daffin has a strong truck, but he hasn't really been able to pull away too much from Cannizzaro. I'm not sure if that's just everyone on equal playing ground, or if Daffin's just trying to conserve as much as possible. But so far, these 4 drivers got a lap truck directly in front of them. But so far, so good. As we say that, the 17 Maher gets squirrely. He's able to keep it going straight, and the green flag will stay out.
Yeah, and once again, we just see these guys battling with a loose condition. All these racers, especially during practice, were saying how loose the trucks were in this race so far, Bob, and we see it again there with the 17.
Yeah, tough break there for Thuggy. Just got a little bit squirrely there coming out of the corner. Here's Cannizzaro. Cannizzaro is going to look to the inside of Daffin. He's going to get there right around the door handle. Can't quite make the move stick there, as Daffin is going to keep the lead off into 1.
And I tell you what, Bob, if Cannizzaro is able to not put the bumper to Daffin there, as we see a little bit loose getting off at 2, but if he's able to make this pass on Daffin, as we see, is he going to be able to hang on to it? And he does. What a save there by Daffin. That was some impressive driving to keep it out of that tire barrier, because that would have been probably the night over for the 48, Bob.
Yeah, an absolute 10 out of 10 save there for Daffin. And yeah, it looks like he just got a little bit squirrely. Fantastic job by both Daffin and Cannizzaro to stay off of each other. Obviously, we don't want to, to have any contact there on the racetrack, but a great job keeping it clean, keeping 2 trucks separated. And, Daffin didn't floppy himself into that retaining wall. So good move there by him. But Cannizzaro still in the lead. He's got almost about a 2-second gap over the 50 of Bill Edwards now.
Yeah, and that stacked up the rest of the field, and it was kind of surprising to me here at this Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway that even we're on a short track here and there's braking involved, momentum is so key. Once you get out of your rhythm on this track and you got to kind of find your line again, it is so hard to get back up to speed with these trucks. So if this stays green, Cannizzaro is in a great way here going for the rest of this race.
Oh, when the broadcaster's curse returns, it's the 48 of Alec Daffin. He's going to spin around if he can. Yep, he is going to be able to get going. Hopefully, glad he wasn't able to, or didn't get high centered there coming out of the corner. Let's see what happened here.
Just a little bit of a self-spin, Bob, and I think with those tires a little bit hot from the save he made earlier probably didn't help things.
Yeah, and that very similar to both Gracias' spin as well as the 12 of Cannizzaro's spin earlier in the race. Just got a little too hot going into the corner. I don't know if it's too much rear brake or too hot tires or a combination of both, but he was getting spun around there. And we'll see who decides to come down pit road.
Yeah, we got Michelle Rogers in the chat here. She says, Bill, stay safe with all these yellows. You got this, even though the announcers don't think so. And Michelle, I just want to say that if he hangs on and wins this, I don't think she's talking about Bill Edwards there, not Cannizzaro, but I was going to make a joke earlier that damage to the left rear of Cannizzaro is from me. So if he is able to hang on and just keep the lead of this race and win this race, I am definitely going to take some of the credit for that win, Bob.
Well, hey, luckily there's no post-race technical inspection, so even if he is a little bit too low with the rear of the truck, I think it'll still count. Bill Edwards, definitely one of our favorite drivers, just to bust his chops a little bit. Obviously, a great driver, and it's one of those things where we don't want to say we hope he does well, just because the broadcaster's curse has not been too friendly to us over these last few races.
Yeah, I mean, I just spoke the yellow into existence there, so yeah, you're not kidding at all, Bob.
Taking a look here on pit road, a handful of drivers came back down. Like Fabi Hellier there, the 48 of Alec Daffin on pit road as well. Looks like everyone's just going to be getting their damage fixed.
Yeah, and if you're towards the back of that lead pack, why not get fresh tires and have something for these guys up at the front of the field that might be just the difference it takes to get you back up into one of these top 5 positions?
That's for sure. And looks like there are a few drivers on fresh tires. Looks like Eckhart on, or pardon me, Tristan Thuggy Maher on back. He's in 4th. Everyone back wound up coming down pit road for fresh tires. Canizaro, Edwards, and Jeff Price out there, but only about 26 laps on the tires. So still not super worn or anything along those lines. But, you know, we'll see if 25 laps or so is going to be a huge difference.
And I think that 18 truck is going to be the one to watch out for there on fresh tires, especially on this restart. Once you get about 5 to 10 laps on these tires, they kind of equal out a little bit. So really, if Eckhart's going to make a move, it's going to be within the first 5 or 6 laps of this green flag run once we get back to green, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we've been saying it all race long. Eckhart has been really, really strong here. Hasn't exactly had the finishes to back it up, but tonight, you know, I'm going to knock on wood. He's been hanging pretty darn tough up here in the top 10 all race long.
I don't want to toot my own horn too much, Bob. We're going back to green here, but this is officially my 20th broadcast overall. So, woo, 3Y TV, 20th broadcast.
Hey, you know what? We wouldn't have it any other way. It was absolutely awesome having you in there with us last week in Atlanta. So, you know, you're always more than welcome up here in the broadcast. Green flag is out. Edwards got a little squirrely there coming off the corner for the restart, but John Canizaro Jr. hanging strong and has a good jump. Here they are down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and that's just the tight pack 1 through 6. So I think it's going to be these top 6, 7 cars here you're going to see with. And it'll be interesting to see how much damage that Daffin took, and he's able to work his way back up to the front here, Bob, in our closing laps.
Yeah, he's been able to work his way up through the field all race long, had some fantastic moves, and there he is right there just out of the camera shot in that black and white truck being chased down by the 97 of Mike Tellier. And oh, caution flag is out yet again. We'll see what happened. Oh, looks like it might have been the 48 of Daffin around again.
And we'll see if he had any help here. I saw that there was a pass by Floppy Tellier right as we were talking about him, but oh wow, I'm not really sure why they threw the yellow for that. That's like almost like a NASCAR debris caution a la 2008 there, Bob.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they threw the caution for that. I know Daffin was going pretty slow jumping onto pit road, but I mean, nothing, you know, nothing egregious or spun or anything like that. So, yeah, we'll just get a free caution and do it all over again.
You know, he might have been blowing up there a little bit, Bob. I honestly am not really sure if iRacing simulates oil being dropped on the track, but that was right in the racing line as well. So really, I think our administrators here are just doing the best they can to keep the rest of the race caution free. And sometimes you got to throw that caution to prevent the ladder caution.
That is for sure here. There's only about 47 laps to go here in tonight's race. I think that's right. My math is not good. I went to school for radio and not for math. So that's literally a live look inside of my brain between that and a monkey with a fez hat crashing cymbals together. That's pretty much summarizing what's going on right now.
Yeah, I just typed it into the 3Y TV calculator, and right now with 123, it'll be 57 laps to go, Bob. So I don't know if that's what you said, but 57 laps here, coming to 56 once we take the coming across the track, or sorry, the start-finish line this time.
Yeah, I was trying to end the race about 10 laps sooner, apparently. But yeah, 56 now laps to go here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And so far, pretty good battle.
Yeah, it's been an interesting race so far. You know, we kind of had to have one of these where all of our races have been just, you know, green flag pit stops. But, you know, we came to a short track here with Nashville Fairgrounds. We also had Bristol earlier in the season, and that had a few cautions with it. And I think that's just kind of the what you get with short track racing here. Just not a lot of room for these guys to work. And, if you get a little bit loose, someone's probably going to help you, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. So that's just kind of a short track racing, as Denny Hamlin would say.
Well, if we're looking ahead to next week, there won't be any cautions next week, knock on wood, but they're heading to Watkins Glen, the road course, the first road course on the schedule. I believe there's going to be 2 or 3 road courses that we go to here on the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series presented by Stay Tuned Sports. Watkins Glen next week, Lime Rock Park coming up in a few weeks. So 2 road courses, 2 very different road courses as well. What are your thoughts with the Glen?
You know, I'm excited to get to the road courses. I think it's going to be a real measuring stick for a lot of these drivers as we're about to go back to green here with Canizaro leading, and he's going to get a good jump again off of the green flag. So back to green flag racing here, lap 126 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. But I think the really interesting thing with the 2 road courses we have is Bristol Dirt is going to be slapped right in the middle of those. So very few, couple of challenging weeks for a driver is going to be a really interesting racing here, though, on 3 Wide TV, Bob.
If you think about it, this is probably going to be the toughest stretch of races this whole season, because we have the short track here, obviously, tonight. Watkins Glen, Bristol Dirt on the 31st. First week of June, we go to Lime Rock Park. After that is Talladega, and then Texas. So these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races, they're at very different racetracks, and they're it's going to be a challenge if someone can be consistent at all of them. They're the one who really deserves to get the wins.
Absolutely. I was just about to say these next 5 or 6 weeks here on the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck League is really going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Those road courses are going to be a real challenge for, I think, a lot of these drivers, especially if you're used to oval racing. And road courses are always fun, especially with these trucks. It's going to be a lot of rear end power, and you got to be really smooth getting back to the gas, or you're going to see just as many spinouts as we've been seeing tonight.
Yeah, I had a great time a few weeks ago when the ARCA series on the official side of things for iRacing was at Lime Rock Park. I had a good time there. I'm not a road course stock car driver by any stretch of the imagination, but that was a lot of fun to race at. The Glen obviously is always fun, and you know, it's always great to see these trucks out there on a road course because, man, those things can rip around a track and they're just fun to drive.
Yeah, and the sanctioning body was really kind to us. I remember a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last season, that the ARCA official series was at Laguna Seca, and that was just, for lack of a better word, torture there, Bob. The corkscrew in a stock car is not something I want to experience ever again in my life if I don't have to.
Yeah, I think I did about 4 laps in that and just said, all right, I'm done. I'll take the I rating and the safety rating loss, and just pulled over and said, nope, I'm not doing ARCA again this week. I know next year or next season they're going to the short road course at Twin Ring Motegi, so that's going to be a lot of fun, just a right-handed oval with a little bump on it, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But meanwhile, here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, looks like the 14 got a little sideways there, and now a couple of drivers just kind of laying on top of each other here.
Yeah, and once you get up in that high groove, especially if there's a conveyor belt going around the bottom, there's not really much you can do except for hold that high groove and try to keep it down to the top of that bottom lane as much as you can, and try to keep as much speed as you can around this racetrack. You really want to be down on the bottom here at Nashville Fairgrounds, and if you can't get your truck rolling the center, you're going to have a rough time, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happened here to the 14 of Price. He's able to finally get down in line with the rest of these drivers, but he was kind of caught on the outside. He lost a bunch of spots. He was up in 3rd at one point, but slowly dropped back down just because he couldn't get down to that preferred line. But meanwhile, just in front of him, a good battle brewing between Gracias, Maher, and Tellier, the TNR OGs, if you will.
Yeah, Bill Edwards and Ricardo Carzano up in there as well, and just really going to be interesting to see as we come to this hopefully last green flag run of this race. But the way that this race has been going, Bob, I wouldn't be too upset if you bet on a few more cautions here if you're gambling along with us on the 3Y TV Sportsbook, which doesn't exist, by the way. Don't come after us, anybody. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see which one of these drivers in the top 4 is able to make a move on Canizaro, because it seems like once you get out in the lead, it's really hard to get that away from somebody unless you make a mistake. Yeah,
and speaking of mistakes, the 14 just brushed the wall a little bit there. Shouldn't really damage anything up too bad. But just behind him, that's the 48 of Alec Daffin. Daffin, after spinning out there and having to head down pit road, unfortunately hasn't quite had the speed he had earlier on. But that being said, he did run right about on pace as all the leaders did this last time by.
Yeah, it looks like the 14 here is just going to let Daffin go. I think there's a lot of heat in that 14 truck's tires, and kind of driving it off the right front there a little bit. As you can see, he's kind of really nosing over into the corner, and that's going to burn your right front up really quickly and just make that car tighten up. I'm sorry, that truck tighten up on you as this as this run progresses. Words are hard sometimes, Bob.
Oh yeah, look at that. The 14 just shot up the racetrack again. I think he might have overheated that right front tire. He's just got to get a lot slower into the corner than he expected to, and he's going to start falling back a little bit more.
Yeah, you really got to back up the corner at that point and try to get some weight off of that tire, let it cool down a little bit, but it's so hard to do here, especially on these short tracks.
Meanwhile, out front, there is your leader, the 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr., Bill Edwards just behind him with another gaggle of trucks. That's the one of Jason Gracias. Gracias looking to make a move there on Edwards, can't do so. But right now, the 12 Cannizzaro just kind of running away with things.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and once he got up here in the lead, like I said, like we saw Daffin all night long up to this point, is once you get in the lead, it's really easy to just run your line and run where you're comfortable with your truck. You got that clean air on your nose, and lap traffic really hasn't been a factor with all the incidents that we've had, Bob, so you're not really catching up to lap traffic and having to navigate your way through them, although most drivers in the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck League are pretty good about letting leaders race and staying out of the way, but he really hasn't had to deal with any lap traffic so far in this run.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's the best part of it, is that everyone here is for the most part just super courteous, letting everyone go by. But oh, yellow flag is out, and I'm hearing that it might have been the 14 of Jeff Price going around. Looks like the tires just kind of gave up on him. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, and another self-spin. Really hasn't been any incidents too much, except for the beginning of this race where one car getting into another. It's just those guys that are cooking those tires up, maybe messing with the brake bias a little bit, and the rear end just snaps out on them.
Yeah, in the beginning of the race, turn 2 was Calamity Corner. Now, these last few times, it's been turn 3 into turn 4 as Calamity Corner, as right now looks like the majority of the field will be heading down pit road to get some fresh tires.
Yeah, and there is a bump in the middle of 3 and 4. I was recognizing that during the practice laps where I could get through 1 and 2 with no problem, but 3 and 4 I was having a tough time figuring out. I was trying to go up the racetrack, find a little bit more speed, maybe find a place where that bump wasn't affecting you, but right where he lost the truck there is exactly where that bump is, Bob.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get turned here, because if you give it a little bit too much gas after hitting those bumps, and there's also another set of bumps there in turn 2 just as you exit. And if you're a little bit too low, you hit those and you're on the gas, you just automatically spin back around. But looks like the 12 of Cannizzaro there will be winning the race off of pit road yet again. And look at that. Look who's in third. Mike Tellier, after hitting the inside wall, turning around, getting spun in a separate wreck, he's made his way back up in a podium position.
Yeah, and something that we saw also with the 14 of Price is he was dealing with that tight condition with that race truck through all of our corners. And when you have a lot of wheel input into the truck and, like you said, get back on the gas, it's so easy to have that snap spin happen to you. You really want to have your wheels straight when you start to apply the full throttle. But if you're fighting a tight race truck, it's really impossible to do that here.
So everyone, after making their adjustments down on pit road, getting some damage fixed, getting 4 fresh tires, everyone out there again on the same fuel strategy. And well, fuel right now going to be coming to 30 laps to go when we go back green. 30 laps, don't have to worry about fuel. Tires, they'll be able to hold for those 30 laps. Right now we got ourselves a pretty good run to the finish here.
Yeah, and the story of this race so far, Bob, has just been managing your tires and avoiding that early carnage. And I think some of the drivers up towards the front, with maybe the exception of John Cannizzaro, sorry about it, was really able to avoid a lot of, wrecks up at the front of this race. And now you see him in a position here to be challenging for the win late in our race.
So when we get back racing, looks like there might be a couple more laps before we go back green. Canizaro is your leader. John Canizaro, rather. Bill Edwards in second. Mike Floppy Tellier third. Tristan Thuggy Maher in fourth. And look at that. Look who's in fifth right now. That's the 48 machine of Alec Daffin. He's had a strong truck all night long. Spun around a couple of times. Had to head down pit road a couple of times. Looks like he's gotten that truck fixed and he's back up into the mix of things.
Yeah, he's able to keep it going all night long. Perseverance is the name of his race so far, as I believe the lights are out on the pace truck, so we'll be going to green this time, Bob.
Yeah, so John Canizaro and Bill Edwards are your front row. We'll see here as the pace truck is off. Canizaro on the loud pedal. He's going to get a great jump coming up here, and away they go down into turn number one. Canizaro has it. Bill Edwards now to the inside. Mike Floppy Tellier just on the outside of Daffin. They got close. No contact there, and we're going to stay green.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting how you want to be on that bottom line as soon as you can, but if you get the top line of the restart and you time it very well, as we have another caution come out, it'll be the 11th caution of the night. It looks like the 48 car of Daffin having some more issues, as we were just talking about him. And maybe we should stop talking about him, Bob, because every time we compliment him, it seems like he runs into another problem.
Yeah, I feel like we just need to completely ignore the 48 there. It looks like, I don't know if he got some help or what. Oh man, he got wall glued to the wall. Hopefully there's no engine damage there. Is right there, just 1, 2 quick little taps, and I don't know if he got helped or what had exactly happened, but either way, he's around and we'll go back green shortly.
3-wide TV blimp shot here, and I think if I had to guess what happened there between the 1 and the 48 is I think the 1 was pushing him a little bit down the backstretch and maybe got the tires a little bit loose on the 48 truck there, so when he went down into the corner, he was already had his rears off of the pavement and just went around on him.
Yeah, it looked like from that view, I don't know if he got into him, but he definitely gave him a little bit of a shove just before the corner, maybe a little too much speed, had to get on the brakes, and that rear brake bias has really been important here just to help turn the cars going into the corner, and maybe just got a little bit too much rear brake bias going, and that's what sent him around.
Yeah, I don't think that was what Gracias was trying to do whatsoever. I think he was just trying to keep his momentum up and then give a little bit of help to the 48. Unfortunately, the 48 just wasn't able to hang on there.
So we'll re-rack and do this one all over again. No change out of the front two drivers. Still John Canizaro Jr. and Bill Edwards. Mike Tellier still in third. Jason Gracias up to fourth. John Eckhart is going to round out the top 5. And when we go back green, it's going to be a 25-lap shootout. What are you looking for, Ian, here when it comes to this? Just, what would some of these strategies be, and what's everyone looking for?
Well, I think John Canizaro is going to take that outside lane again. I was saying before the caution come out that it's really intriguing that the bottom line is where you want to get to as fast as you can, but starting on the outside really allows you to just dive down in the turn 1 and get a real good run coming off of turn 2, and I think it's impossible to do that unless you take that outside spot, Bob. So going to be interesting to see if he takes the high side again. I don't know why he wouldn't, but I think we're going to see another good launch here from the 12 truck.
Yeah, and if I'm Bill Edwards, I'm just going to have to ride as tight to his door as possible. Try to gauge when he goes. I know the 50 of Bill Edwards, he drives in VR, so he has that ability to, look to his right and actually see the 12 car to the right of him. So this is one of those instances where having VR is going to be a huge help, especially when you're on the front row of the restart, because if you're in the second car there, it's always so much harder to get the jump on the restart because you have to time it and go as the leader goes, or you get a black flag if you go ahead of them.
Yeah, but take a look who's in third place here on the outside row. It's going to be Jason Gracias, and he's been strong all night long, so it's going to be interesting to see what him and Edwards are going to do diving down into turn 1.
So with that, the pace truck will be pulling off. Field waiting to get back green. Canizaro is going to go. Green flag back in the air. Great jump there by Canizaro. Another great jump there by Gracias. They're side by side into one.
Yeah, knowing Bill Edwards, he's not going to let that go, though. He's a guy that's going to drive up in front of you, try to get a little bit of that slide job going and slide that truck just up in front of you and hope you check up a little bit and you're the one to play chicken in that situation.
So there is Edwards just in front of the 97 Mike Floppy Tellier. There's Alec Daffin in as well. Daffin to the inside of Gracias. Not able to clear him this time, as they'll go side by side into turn number 3. Gracias just going to fall in line behind Daffin, and oh, the 97 gets sideways coming out of the corner. This is going to be tight going into 1.
I saw that happen a few times, the 97 car of Mike Floppy Tellier, and he's actually able to keep his speed up pretty impressively if he has that happen to him down on the low side of the track there, and able to really drive into the corner hard and keep the speed up as we saw him do there.
And, you know, obviously his tires can't be too happy with him for doing that, but good on him for keeping it clean and keeping it going in the right direction, because we've seen it countless times coming off of the corner just like that, and you get sideways, you hit the inside wall, and, you know, cautions wind up breeding cautions. But right now, there's that 48 machine. Don't want to say too much, but he's able to get around the 1 of Gracias.
Yeah, working his way back up to 3rd, and I don't think he's done yet. He's got a little bit of clean air between the 1st and 2nd battle here between Cannizzaro and Edwards, and I'm sure he's loving it, and he knows Bill Edwards is not going to give any breaks to Cannizzaro, so he's probably sitting back trying to save his stuff a little bit for this final run and just say, come on, boys, race each other hard so I can catch up back to you.
Yeah, great battle here between the 48 and the 1 of Gracias. Cannizzaro out front by about 0.8 of a second, so you're not missing too much here. This one of the better battles up here on the racetrack. Just ahead of them, you see Bill Edwards looking to the inside of John Cannizzaro. He's quickly closing in the gap. Went from about 0.8 down to 0.2 here.
Yeah, the 50 truck looks like he's rolling the corner a lot better right now than the 12, and I think that's all the difference, Bob.
Yeah, definitely rolling the bottom better. And, you know, this is where Bill shines. He loves to close the race out strong. And, you know, we saw it even last season here in the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. Edwards wound up getting the win over Philip Scott here last season. So Edwards very strong here at the Fairgrounds, and look at that, closing right up on the back bumper of the 12.
Yeah, and Edwards is I'm not going to say, I'm not trying to imply a dirty driver, but he's an aggressive driver, so if he can get to the back bumper of the 12, as we saw there, he might give him a little pop and say, hey, I'm here, and I'm coming for that first spot.
Yeah, a little bit of a bump and run there. The 12 goes up the track. 50, Bill Edwards looking to the inside. They're side by side down the back straightaway. Cannizzaro has a little bit of a lead as they head off into turn number 3, but Bill Edwards right on his back bumper with 14 laps to go at the stripe.
Yeah, really good job by Cannizzaro there to hang on to the truck and fight back there, as we see Edwards again getting right up to the bumper of the 12 truck. This is going to be an interesting battle if we stay green all the way to the finish between these two drivers, Bob. It's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, a couple little rabbit punches there from the front end of Bill Edwards, and you see it right there on the truck, just gonna send it, and he did. He got it right into the back bumper of Cannizzaro. Can't quite send it in there, and he's gonna fall back a little bit. Look who's right behind him. That's the 48 of Alec Daffin. So don't count Daffin out just yet. He's got Gracias behind him, and before we know, we might see a 4-way battle for the lead here with 11 laps, or 12 laps rather, to go.
Yeah, this is like a title fight here between Edwards and Cannizzaro. Edwards just beating the back bumper off the 12 truck, doing everything he can to get that nose underneath him, but it seems like Cannizzaro is able to run that second lane a little bit faster than Edwards is able to get to the bottom, and when you're giving bumps to a truck like that, it does slow down your momentum a little bit, so you really got to move him out of the way if that's what you want to do, and I don't think Edwards is going to do that. He's just going to give Cannizzaro a few bumps to say, hey, I'm here, you better not make a mistake.
He's just going to fill up his mirror with that S2R hood on the back. He's going to take a little peek to the inside, almost try to fake the 12 out and make him go a little bit lower. Cannizzaro gets chased up the track. Here comes Edwards. They're side by side at a 2.
Yeah, he's playing a little bit of shades of Rusty Wallace here, the 50 truck of Bill Edwards, just filling up that bumper. And we see some contact here. The 12 goes around.
Oh, man, a tough break there for the 12 of Cannizzaro. They were side by side, definitely not intentional, as I think the 50 might have gotten pushed up the track just a little bit into the corner. Yeah, just a little too hot in there, and the 12 gets spun around.
Yeah, I think Edwards knew there that he had to make something different happen if he was going to make that bottom line work, and I think he was just trying a little bit of a different entry into the corner, and Cannizzaro tried to cut down a little bit, just a little bit of a racing incident here on a short track.
So we'll try to get this thing back running. We'll have a probably about a 5-lap shootout or so, give or take. As we see Bill Edwards now in the lead. He's going to have the 48 of Alec Daffin to his inside when they go back green.
That's something to watch for the rest of this race. If you give the bumper to somebody, I think that kind of opens the door for the guy behind you, where it's like, well, hey, you did that to get the lead. I mean, I'm not going to give you any space as well. And that's just a short track racing here that we see at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and it's going to be one heck of a shootout here to the end, Bob.
Yeah, and it was exactly that. Just a little bit of a push, nothing too crazy. And if anything, the 50 might have overdriven the corner a little bit, pushed up the racetrack, got into the 12. So, if I'm Edwards, I'm saying, all right, let's just hope the 12 doesn't get back to me. We might see something happen there, because Cannizzaro, he's in 4th right now, and if the way they start or restart the race, that 12 might be right on the back bumper of the 50.
Yeah, and he's going to have the outside line this time, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get much of a jump as we've seen the leader on the outside line getting all night long, or if Daffin's going to be able to make that bottom lane stick. And he's been good around the bottom, so as long as that truck doesn't step out again on him, I think he's going to be one to watch out for here.
If you're just joining us and if you're hanging out in the chat, make sure you say hi. Let us know who you are cheering for. Right now in the chat, hey, we got Peter Short in the chat saying Bill Edwards, Bill Edwards, the racer guy, Bill, a la some Bill Nye the Science Guy. So the Bill Edwards fan club is growing every day.
Yeah, sure is. And with moves like that, just aggressive driving and being able to do whatever it takes to get to the front, that's going to definitely gain you a few fans there, Bob.
So we're getting the 1 to go here with 5 laps to go in the race. Edwards is going to take the outside, Daffin to the inside. And if I'm Edwards, I'm just ignoring that virtual mirror because he's got the black truck there, that 12 of John Cannizzaro Jr. filled up. And if Cannizzaro gets to him, maybe we'll see a little bit of payback.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're going to be able to go green all the way to the end of this race, Bob. I think we're in for a little bit of overtime, if you have to ask me.
So let's see here. The pace truck getting ready to pull off. Bill Edwards is your control truck. He's taking it really slow coming out of the corner. Now he's going to jump green. Green flag is out. 4 laps to go here at the Fairgrounds. Great jump there by the 50 of Edwards. Alec Daffin able to clear the 12 of Cannizzaro. And oh, trouble. Eckhart, he's going to go around. Tries to get it going. Can't.
I thought we were going to stay green there, Bob, but with the 18 turned around like that. Oh, we are staying green. I was going to say, with the 18 turned around like that, I thought we were going to keep going, but yeah, nobody behind him, so I think we're going to stay green here. 3 to go, and then be coming to 2 to go this time, Bob.
Right now, that is the battle for the win. Bill Edwards has it. Everyone else wants it. Here's Alec Daffin. He's going to look down low. He's got Cannizzaro hot on his bumper. 2 laps to go now as Bill Edwards grows out his lead to about half a second. But Alec Daffin all over him. A little bit of wiggle coming out of the corner. But as they come out of turn number 4, they'll see the white flag in the air.
Yeah, and I don't think that Daffin's close enough to make a last lap move on Edwards here, but we'll see what happens going through 1 and 2 if he's able to tighten up that gap going down into 3 and 4 and able to throw a slider.
So let's see here, the back straightaway, the last opportunity here for Daffin to make a move. If he can, he cannot. But Bill Edwards coming out of turn number 4. Edwards is going to win at Nashville.
Man, that was one heck of a race, Bob. It's been such a difference from what we've seen so far in the season. Long green flag runs and really the leader just running away with it towards the end of the race. That was good old-fashioned beating and banging fest all the way to the checkered flag. Really fun to watch here tonight.
So a fantastic battle there all race long. Bill Edwards able to get the win. Here's the 97 of Mike Tellier coming by to give him a congratulatory bump there. And Edwards just going to do another celebratory lap here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody break out the Polish victory lap so far this season, and I'm a big fan of the Polish victory lap, being a fan of Alan Kulwicki when I was younger, and it's well, interesting to see what he decides to do with his celebration here. You've seen some fantastic burnouts this season, so really excited to see what Bill's going to do for us.
So as Bill gets ready to burn it down, and he'll do so here, we'll take a look at the results for tonight's race. Bill Edwards is your winner, and he wins the Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet Charter 180, I guess technically, here at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Bob, can I ask a question here real quick? Maybe I missed this last week. Is there a relationship between Fisher Disc Golf and Boltjet Charter? I know they always sponsor in unison. I just wanted to know if there's if there's some sort of I don't know if Ian could chime in on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can handle that one for you, Bob. Just two really close friends of mine, and just nice enough to be able to help me out here racing. And we got Jackson Speedway on board, my hometown dirt track that I work at, and then the Esports Racing Academy. Half of they jump on in the middle of the season as well. That's a World Championship Rallycross driver Luis Nunez set up shop and really just trying to get his name out there, and was nice enough to throw a few dollars our way.
Well, that's awesome. Certainly, the more the merrier as far as sponsorship goes, and it's great to have them. But I'll let you guys get back to work. I was just curious on that, and I'm sure maybe some of the viewers were as well.
Well, we'll take a look here at the final results for tonight's race. Bill Edwards gets the win over Alec Daffin. John Canizaro Jr. comes in third. Mike Floppy Tellier fourth. Jason Grassi is fifth. John Eckhart in sixth. John Canizaro Sr., good run by him, able to finish up in seventh. Jeff Price, after having some issues, falls back to eighth. Tristan Thuggy Maher in ninth. And Kevin Stone rounds out the top 10, Ian.
Yeah, P11 goes to Adam Williams, my newly minted Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet teammate. I don't know why he hasn't updated his SDK stuff yet. I'll have to talk to him about that. Jimbo with Team Hire Me Please comes across in P12, 120 laps down. Robert Tripp in 13. Some guy named Ian Fisher came across in 14th in the 81 car, 123 laps down. Daniel Capuaro coming across in P15, 166 laps down, sharing that with Scott Crump in P16, Nathan Ramsey P17, and Landon Charlo, unfortunately, was booted from our race pretty early in the session. He'll finish P18, 172 laps down.
Well, that will do it for the final results for tonight. We'll get a quick chat in with our our podium finishers. First up will be our third place driver, John Canizaro Jr. And G, are you still in the booth? Did you want to take this one?
No, thanks. You guys handle it.
Well, we'll get Canizaro up here in the room now. And third place finisher, John Canizaro. I don't know why I'm getting your name all sorts of effed
I know
up
why,
there.
Bob. Because nobody likes Jan Brady and nobody likes John Canizaro, so that's why you're calling him Jan.
Well, John, third place finish, obviously not the finish you wanted to get out there. Tell me about those closing lap battles between you and the 50 of Edwards.
Well, Garrett, I can assure you one thing: Bill Edwards is not going to be a person that likes me after this, that's for sure. But it's what it is. You can't race a guy that loves to put it to your quarter panel and say sorry afterwards. It's just how he races. So, other than that, strong truck. Learned the hard way that moving the brake bias back wasn't very nice to the truck. I ended up backing up into turn 3, and Ian here decided to give me a little damage for the go. So, got it back to the front. Think it was fine. Top 3, I'll take it for the first run out, and hopefully from here it goes smoother.
Well, it was a very difficult race all race long. Obviously, a lot of cautions. How hard was it to keep that momentum going with the number of cautions here tonight?
It's a little weird. I didn't practice too much. I was helping my father a lot too. Glad to see him get a top 10. I think that's 8th or 7th. But all the caution starts getting annoying after a while. You just want to get into a rhythm and you can't. You start worrying about strategy and fuel and tires, and it sort of plays mind games.
Well, that's definitely a tough one. Obviously, you got the win last night in the Grand National Series at the Roval. Next week, the trucks head off to Watkins Glen. What are your thoughts there at the Glen?
I love the Glen. I don't think I've lost very many stock car races at the Watkins Glen, so hopefully that time I pull off the win, no bumpers included. So we'll see what happens. I think me and my father might have a better chance of that one, being up higher in the field, so we'll see.
Well, John, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Obviously my father, he got him in here now. I think Lisa was messing with him. He thought it was hilarious. Stay Tuned Sports, he's sponsoring the truck, letting me come out here with probably the most interesting truck in the field. rear bumper does say I need a paint scheme. If anybody wants to happily give me one, I'll take it. You guys put on the broadcast. Obviously, my mother, she was upset I didn't call her out yesterday, so I have to call her out now. You guys up in there on the broadcast and everybody else.
Well, John, congratulations on the third place finish. Obviously, not exactly where you wanted to finish, but a good finish there for you nonetheless. And we look forward to seeing you out there next week at the Glen.
Thank you.
All right, that'll be our third place finisher, John Cannizzaro Jr. there, finishing in third. And Ian, I believe you've caught up with our second place finisher, Alec Daffin.
Yeah, Alec just getting out of the car here, and Alec, interesting up and down night for you tonight. You know, you won over at California Speedway and then had the unfortunate incident lap 1 with Atlanta. Come to the short track here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and you were up and down. You had a little bit of tire issues and a spin, just kind of like everybody else in the field, but still able to come home in second place. Talk a little bit about managing the tires on this racetrack here at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Sometimes the right rear wears out more, sometimes the right front does. If you crank the wheel a lot, right front wears out. But I feel like tonight we were mostly dealing with the right rear tire wear with getting loose on entry and exit. So I ran a lower steering ratio than normal, which helped. But yeah, you just got to be easy with the throttle and keep the wheels straight on entry and all that.
Yeah, and I was behind you for one of those restarts and we were going single file, and I wanted to touch a little bit about the lane selection, but I don't really know if you got to pick the inside or the outside lane, but we were kind of trying to figure out in the broadcast what gave you such a good jump on those restarts when you were able to be out in front.
Talk about when I was leading or just all of them?
Just all of them, really. We saw you getting a good jump all night long.
I just trust the grip level. Just know how much throttle to use. I mean, I don't have a ton of laps this track, but I have enough. And just experience just on this tire mile, I guess, just helps me out. And just keeping the wheel straight. Don't, like, when you mash the throttle, don't turn the wheel at all. Just a mixture of that, I guess.
And it seemed like no matter what happened to your truck, you were able to drive it back up to the front. In those closing laps, what did you see out of your windshield between Edwards and Cannizzaro there?
It looked like Edwards just either got tight or loose. Either way, he washed up and got into him. He didn't do it on purpose or anything, but it was definitely his fault. Just they were racing hard. He just slipped up into him there. But it helped me out, not on the way I want to be helped, but I mean, I got through it cleanly at least.
Yeah, and that's just short track racing sometime, and the resilience is able to get you home in P2. Anybody you want to shout out that has to get done out on the racetrack?
Yeah, thank you to Shaw Racing and my team. Thank you guys for the broadcast. My Twitch viewers at Forlex Bowman, that's 4LEXBOWM8N, and everybody for putting on the league.
And a great finish tonight for Alec Daffin, coming home in P2, keeping his run of strong finishes going, Bob, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do for the rest of the season.
That is for sure. Alec has been one of the standout drivers there all season long, ever since he joined with us back at Auto Club Speedway. But right now, I am down in victory lane with the winner for tonight, the 50 of Bill Edwards. And Bill, first of all, congratulations on the win. You know, it took a little bit of a bump and go, if you will, but talk me through that battle you had with Cannizzaro.
It was wild. The laps were winding down too quick, and I tried to bumper run on him, I think twice. Just couldn't. I just couldn't get enough grip with where I was able to catch him and bump him at. But I was able to get on his inside, so. You know, with that many laps left, it's his job to pinch. It's my job to push. So I pushed and he pinched, and, you know, I hopefully, you know, he was up here getting interviewed, so he must not have got completely destroyed.
Well, Bill, you know, it was a great battle between you guys pretty much all race long. What is it about Nashville that makes you so good here? Does it just fit your driving style or what? But I feel like every time we've came here with TNR, you've always been a threat to win. And I think your average finish is pretty darn good here as well.
I don't know. When this first track, when they first did this track, I was terrible at it. And I put some laps in, and I honestly don't know. There's a lot of car control involved, and I've always kind of prided myself on having good car control. Yeah, a lot of throttle control, a lot of braking control. It just fits my driving style for whatever reason. But yeah, I enjoy coming here. So it's fun. It's fun when you can get top five. It's really fun when you can get a win every now and then. So it's a good race. A lot of hard battles out there. There's a lot of yellow flags, but we got some green flags in there, and I'm just hoping I made GG proud.
Bill, this is the weirdest victory lane celebration I've ever seen. Everybody is down here eating applesauce. Is that because there's no teeth left in this group, or what's going on here? It's very weird. It's like a retirement home party.
I just put mine in I just wear one of those helmets with the straws coming out of it. That's how I get my applesauce.
Dual barrel action too, right? One on each side, right?
Oh yeah, gotta have both of them in there.
I am proud of you, and like I sent you a message before you started this interview with these guys. I said the fact that I didn't predict you, that's what made the difference. That was all the luck you needed to pull this off, and I couldn't be happier that you moved that no good, rotten John Cannizzaro out of the way for the win.
I was faster than him. The hard part's finding a way around him, and he's once he gets in the lead, it's real hard to pass him for sure. He does make that a challenge, and that's what you're supposed to do. I almost had him on pit lane. I kind of did some sneaky stuff and nailed the pit, and I was right behind him. And I honestly think I might have been. I would have had to think a little bit more of an opportunity to get that jump, because having the lead here is everything.
Well, Bill, next week the league moves over to Watkins Glen, the road course. What are your thoughts there?
I love road courses. Watkins Glen isn't my bread and butter, but I'm sure John's going to be back up there, and there's going to be quite a few other guys in here that everybody here is comfortable with road courses. So it's none of these are a gimme at all. So, but I do like Watkins Glen, and I like road courses. It's more throttle control and a lot of car control and more driving. It's definitely a driver's track, so it should be fun. Hopefully I do better than I did last night.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out there next week. Before we let you go, Bill, do you have any shout outs for us?
Yep, you guys up here in the booth, TNR for putting this on. Stay tuned Sports, and Jimbo. Thanks for setting this all up for us and giving us another season. It's been a blast, and can't wait to come back. I gotta say hi to my mom and all my S2R boys, and all the admins in here, because this one's probably gonna be a messy one.
Well, Bill, congratulations on the win, and we're looking forward to seeing you out there next week at the Glen.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
All right. Well, that is Bill Edwards, tonight's winner here at the Fisher Disc Golf Boltjet Charter 150 here in the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And, well, G and Ian, I'll give it over to you guys. What are some closing thoughts tonight, and what are you looking forward to next week at the Glen?
I'm looking forward to a week off. I think Ian's got this under control. He could probably drive and commentate, but I love Watkins Glen. It's one of my favorite tracks, certainly my favorite road course, and I know that these guys are going to put on a tremendous show there. We have so many talented drivers, and Ian talked about braking in a straight line. Well, no better place to do it than Watkins Glen with those high-speed straightaways.
Yeah, it's going to be one to watch for sure. I think we'll see some guys that maybe don't always be up at the front of the pack just because, oval's not everybody's specialty, but there might be some wild cards in this field that, race a lot of road racing, and when they get to Watkins Glen, it's going to be familiar to them. And Watkins Glen is a really great road course for stock car racing. There's some long straightaways, places for guys to get side by side, heavy braking zones. So it's going to be really fascinating to see who can get up front and stay up front for the rest of that race, Bob.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun just witnessing everyone trying to make their way around that road course. I cannot wait to get there next week. But before we do, I got to thank a lot of people for making tonight's broadcast happen. First, Stay Tuned Sports, obviously our title sponsor here, and Jimbo, they're your go-to destination for the best sports talk around. This week's episode, Jimbo talks about UFC 274 and a whole lot of other things. Make sure you check him out wherever you find podcasts, and you can support him at buymeacoffee.com/ST Sports. Tonight's race brought to you by Boltjet Charters. They specialize in planning your next trip literally anywhere in the world in a private luxury jet. You can check them out online, boltjetcharter.com. You can also check out Fisher Disc Golf. They're Muskegon, Michigan's #1 stop for all of your disc golf needs. You can check them out and get some cool merch, whether it's discs, bags, full disc golf net hole thingies, some t-shirts, and a whole lot of other stuff. You can check them out online, fisherdiscgolf.com. Also want to thank Carlos with 3 Wide TV being our fantastic producer as always. And for one final time, for Garrett Gleason and Ian Fisher, I'm Bob Giaquinto. We'll see you next week at the Glen. But until then, stay safe, stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.